I finally did it. I've been wanting a backlight for my TV for a long time, and when Philips Hue announced dedicated hardware that would look at the color of what's on your screen and extend that to lights behind your TV, I couldn't resist. But now that I've got it set up and I've watched a few movies on it, I'm actually kind of having second thoughts on it. Here's why. For those of you who aren't familiar with this device, the device that I'm talking about today is the Philips Hue Play HDMI Sync Box. Whew, that's a mouthful. I actually had to read it off the box because I can't remember all those words. Usually when I talk about it to my wife, I just call it the thing that runs the TV lights, and she knows what I'm talking about. So if you're not familiar with this device, it is basically hardware that sits in between your TV and whatever is generating the HDMI signal. So your AV receiver or your Blu-ray player, you plug the HDMI cable out of that into the HDMI sync box and then plug HDMI from that into your TV. It looks at the color of whatever's on your screen and it makes lights behind your TV match. You also have to have a Philips Hue hub in order for this to work, and obviously lights. For my lights, I opted for light strips. Philips also makes what they call play bars, I think. Basically, they're light bars that sit behind your TV. You can mount them to the TV or put them on stands. My TV is wall mounted and it has a pretty low profile mount, so I opted for the light strips instead of the bars because I didn't have a lot of space behind my TV. For my setup, I have a Vizio P-Series display and we stream just about everything through our Apple TV, so it was pretty easy just to plug Apple TV into the HDMI sync box and then that into the TV. So that's my setup. I'll show you a couple of sample clips, one that I think looks really good and then another one that kind of doesn't. Just a quick note, none of my videos are sponsored, so all of this equipment I buy with my own money. I make videos about it because I'm interested in it and I just want to tell other people about it. So you can trust that my opinions are as unbiased as anybody's opinions who's not getting paid to talk about their opinions. And I'll leave it at that. For this clip, I'm streaming The Force Awakens from Disney Plus, and I have the Hue Sync box set to high intensity. And I think this clip looks really good. There are some pretty cool flashes and explosions, and it's a pretty high intensity clip to begin with, so the effect, I think, really adds to the movie here. Some of the lightsaber clashes make the whole screen flash white, and you get a cool strobe effect when that happens. Here's why I'm probably going to return this. First, it's expensive. So, I mean, Philips Hue stuff is expensive to begin with, but the box, the HDMI sync box itself is $230. So assuming you already have lights, that's an additional $230 just to get the lights to match the color of what's on your TV. Now, if you really, really want that effect, maybe it's worth it. I thought I really wanted it. I really did. And now that I have it and I've watched a few films, I'm kind of like, I don't think this is actually worth $230 to me personally, but that's my opinion. So it's expensive, maybe it's worth it, maybe not. Reason number two, I find it distracting. Now I'm the type of person who, when I watch a movie, I can't stand to have subtitles on unless it's a language that I'm not familiar with, because I think it just distracts from the film visually. I love cameras, I love photography, I love video, and so I appreciate the camera work, the angles, the color, the way dialogue is framed in a movie, and I like watching those details and seeing how the film was put together and not reading text as it goes along. Anyway, so I don't like subtitles. I feel like this is kind of a similar thing. It's like another thing that's going on around your TV that's not actually the movie. It sort of goes along with the movie, but visually it's really distracting for me. When it gets the colors right, it looks really cool. For instance, action sequences, special effects, explosions, they look great, and it's really cool to have your whole room light up orange and red when something huge explodes in a fiery ball of flame. But in slower sequences, like where two people are just talking, and if there's any kind of motion in the background, I find it really distracting to have the colors changing and flickering, and sometimes it gets it, in my opinion, wrong as to what it should be It would be cool if it could somehow figure out, given the scene, what the ambient light around the characters talking would be, but I just don't know how you would do that unless there was like information embedded in the video to tell it, in this scene, play this color on this side of the screen. It doesn't work that way. Okay, the third reason, and this one is really less of a deal breaker for me, but the HDR support is not top tier on this device, especially given its price. I would expect it to be really good. So it does do HDR, but it only does HDR10. So there are different HDR standards out there. There's HDR10, HDR10 Plus, and Dolby Vision. HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision are sort of higher end. It doesn't do those. So if you're watching a video with HDR10 Plus or Dolby Vision, it will pass that through so you still see it on your TV, but you can't get any color matching when you're watching a video that has those video codecs in them for HDR. Some people have gotten around this. If you have an AV receiver that can output video to multiple zones, you can plug your TV into one zone and the HDMI sync box into another zone and actually get Dolby Vision on the TV still. I don't have an AV receiver and I don't have budget to go out and buy one, especially not just for this, so that wasn't an option for me. So I've settled for HDR10. Can I tell the difference? Well, if I sit there on my Apple TV and I toggle HDR10 to Dolby Vision and back and forth, yeah, I can tell the difference. The colors look different on the screen. If I were to just sit down in a room and start watching a movie, could I tell you which one it was? No. So HDR10 looks great, but again, this is $230, so I would really expect it to be using the top of the line codecs that are available for that price. I mean, again, all this hardware is doing, matching the lights to the color on your screen. Okay, that being said, it does actually do a couple other pretty cool things. If you play music on something going to your TV, it can sync the lights to the beat of the music. There are other things out there that will do that too. You can get apps on your phone that work pretty well that do that and don't cost $230. Okay, so maybe the main thing for me is the price. It's just not worth it that much money in my opinion. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was informative for you. You could see some areas where the HDMI sync box really shines and looks really good, and other areas where it falters a little bit and doesn't look quite as good. Up to you if you think this effect is worth the money. To you personally, I don't really, so I'm probably gonna return this thing. Again, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like smart home tech and want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. I'm going to have a lot more videos coming out in the future. Again, thank you for watching.